Continuing with example E, how many 7-card hands consist of 3 hearts and 4 diamonds? Okay, so if you go back to part D, in part D, we went out to the side and we calculated how many possible 7-card hands with no restrictions that there are. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down just so we can compare the answer to part E once we get it. Okay, so I'm just going to write, we know from D, part D, that there are 560 possible 7-card hands with no restrictions. Okay, all right, so now we want a subset of these possible sets, and we want 7-card hands that have 3 hearts and 4 diamonds. Okay, so remember what I told you. If you're dealing with a 7-card hand, you need to make sure that all the cards are accounted for. Okay, so if you have 3 hearts and 4 diamonds, 3 plus 4 is 7. So that restriction is going to take care of all the cards. You don't have to worry about remaining cards. Okay. All right. So to do this, okay, we're going to use blanks again. Okay. We have to choose, make sure all the hearts are chosen, 3 hearts specifically, and that 4 diamonds are chosen. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Okay. So we know that we're dealing with a hand of cards. Okay. It's going to be a combination. Okay. As far as the hearts are concerned, we are choosing 3. Okay. Now remember, you don't want to go to the entire deck of 52 cards and choose 3 because that's not going to ensure that you only get hearts. So if you want to pull only hearts, then that greater set that you're pulling from can only be the set of hearts. Okay, so let's go back to our deck of cards. Let me erase what I have from a previous example here. Okay, so to ensure that we get only hearts, we need to be pulling from the set of hearts. Okay, so this is going to now be our greater set that we're pulling from. Okay, we're going to choose 3 cards from the set of all the hearts. Okay, that is one entire suit. Each suit contains 13 cards. So if you count up all these hearts, there should be 13 cards there. Okay, so from the 13 hearts, we're going to choose 3 of them. Okay, that's going to ensure that we get 3 hearts. Okay, now we're going to do diamonds. Okay, so if you move over to diamonds, okay, it's still going to be a combination, but this time we're going to be choosing 4. We're choosing 4 diamonds. Okay, again, you're not choosing from the entire deck of cards. You want to ensure that what you draw is only diamonds. So you need to choose that greater set that you're pulling from is going to be the set of all diamonds. Okay, so now if we go over back to our deck of cards, okay, look at the diamonds. So here's the set of diamonds. Okay, again, it's its own suit. And so there's going to be 13 diamonds that we're pulling from. Okay, so for the diamonds, out of the 13 diamonds that are available in the deck, we're going to be choosing 4 of them. Okay, so you made your choice for your hearts, you made your choice for your diamonds. All 7 cards are accounted for. You're going to multiply these guys together. Okay, so let's go to the calculator. We're going to do 13, choose 3, and 13, choose 4. Okay, so let's do 13, choose 3, and let's do 13, choose 4. Okay, so here we go. So then we're just going to end up multiplying these 2 numbers together. So let me go write this down. This is going to be 286 times 715, I think it was. Yes. Okay, so now we need to multiply these numbers together, and that's going to give us our grand total. Okay, so we're going to do 286 times 715. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so 204,490 possible hands. Okay, let me make sure I got that down right. All right, so this many possible 7 card hands with 3 hearts and 4 diamonds. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to give you a lot of practice with this because, like I said, once we get to probability, you'll see a fair number of card problems. Okay. All right, let's take a look at part F. How many 4 card hands contain a card from each suit? Okay. All right, so here we go. Just like I've been doing with all the other problems, let's talk about 4 card hands with no restrictions first. So if you're dealing with hands, you know it's a combination. So now we're dealing with 4 card hands. So we're going to be choosing 4. If we didn't have any restrictions and we just looked at the total number of 4 card hands, this would be 52 choose 4 because you would be pulling from the whole deck. Okay, so this is going to be the total number of 4 card hands possible with no restrictions. Okay, so let's go compute that really quick. Okay, so if we did 52 choose 4, okay, we're going to get 270,725 possible 4 card hands with no restrictions. Okay, but now we're going to look at 4 card hands that contain a card from each suit. Okay, so remember, you're going to have 4 cards in your hand. There's 4 suits, so you need to have 1 heart, 1 diamond, 1 spade, and 1 club. Okay, doesn't matter which order they come out in. Okay, so again, you're going to do the blank thing here. Okay, you've got to make sure that you have 1 heart, 1 diamond. You've got to make sure that you have 1. I cannot draw a club, so I'm just going to put 1 club, and I can't draw a spade either, so I'm going to put 1 spade. Okay, so we have a blank for each of these restrictions. Okay, again, we only have a 4 card hand. Okay, so we've got 4 blanks, so each of the cards in our hand will be accounted for. You've got to make sure all the cards are accounted for. Okay, all right, so now we can start filling in our restrictions. Okay, so let's talk hearts first. Okay, we're dealing with a hand of cards, so we're dealing with a combination. Okay, you want 1 heart in your hand. Okay, so again, you're not going to be pulling from the entire deck. You need to pull from just the heart. Ensure that you get a heart. Okay, the heart, I mean, you can do this. You can go back and look at the picture or whatnot. Okay, but if you look at all the hearts which are circled here, it's its own suit. Every suit has 13 cards. Okay, so there are 13 hearts that you're going to be pulling from. Okay, and you're going to choose one of them. Okay, all right, so then you're going to do the same thing for the diamond. Okay, it's going to be a combination. You want 1 diamond in your hand. You need to pull from the set of all diamonds. Okay, there are 13 diamonds in the deck because it's its own suit. Okay, same thing with the club. Okay, you've got to make sure you have 1 club in your hand. Okay, it's a combination. We're pulling 1 club from the greater set of 13 clubs in the deck. Okay, last thing, spade, it's done the same way. Okay, this is a combination. We want to have 1 spade in our hand, and we're pulling that 1 spade from the greater set of 13 spades. That's how you want to treat this problem. Okay, you've got all 4 blanks filled in. You're going to multiply the results together. Okay, so let's go to the calculator and figure out what 13 choose 1 is. We're going to do 13 choose 1. Okay, you're going to get 13. Okay, so we go back to this. This is going to be 13 times 13 times 13 times 13. Okay, and so this is going to be, so we're going to get, let's see, let's punch this in. All right, so we get 28,561. Okay, that's our answer. All right, so this is the number four card hands containing a card from each suit. All right. All right, let's try one more. Okay. Oops, there's two more. What am I thinking? Okay, yes, two more. Okay, so let's take a look at G. Okay, again, dealing with four card hands. Okay, but we're going to put a restriction on the number of four card hands. Okay, how many four card hands consist of cards from the same suit? Okay, so what we know, okay, or what we're expecting here. So, for example, if you have four cards in your hand, okay, you want that hand to have every card in that hand has to be from the same suit. So, for example, they might all be hearts, okay? But you also need to consider what if they're all diamonds, what if they're all spades, what if they're all clubs, okay? So, this is what I'm going to do for this problem. Let's figure out how many possibilities there are for one particular suit, okay? And then once we get that number, let's multiply that answer by 4, okay? Since it can happen for any of the 4 suits, okay? So let's do this, since I have hearts drawn, let's do this for hearts, okay? So if you have a 4-card hand, okay, how many 4-card hands are going to consist only of hearts? Okay, so I'm going to write this down. So for hearts, we're going to compute the number of 4-card hands consisting of only hearts. Okay, so again, we're computing the number of 4-card hands consisting of only hearts. Okay, so if you had a hand of cards, okay, this would be a combination. It's going to be a 4-card hand. So we're going to, our R value is going to be 4. Okay, if you want it to only have hearts, then your greater set that you're choosing from has to be the set of all hearts. Okay, so you would be pulling 4 cards from the set of 13 hearts in the deck. Okay, so our answer here would be, if we go and do this, this is going to be 13, choose 4. Okay, 715. Okay, that's how many 4-card hands consist of only hearts. Okay, now this would be the same way of looking at the situation if you were dealing with diamonds, if you were dealing with spades, if you were dealing with clubs. Okay, this is how many 4-card hands consist of, each of the suits. Okay, so we did it for just hearts, but we need to apply this to all the suits. Okay, so we're going to, okay, this was for hearts only. So I'm going to put that here for hearts only. Okay, so for all the suits, okay, there's 715 possible hands for each suit. So now to get the total number, because it can happen to any of the suits, we need to multiply by 4. Okay, so we're going to go and do 715 times 4. Okay, and that's going to give us the total number of possibilities. Okay, 2,860. Okay, so that's how many 4-card hands there are that consist of cards from the same suit. Okay, again, if you went up here, okay, and you looked back at the total number of 4-card hands possible, okay, that number that we just computed, 2,860, much smaller than the total number. Okay, that restriction has really lowered how many possibilities there are. Okay, finally, we're at the last one. Okay, so in part H, it says, in how many ways can you pick 4 cards if you must choose a diamond, then a spade, and then 2 other cards if every card is drawn one at a time? All right, I want you to read this problem again. Okay, in how many ways can you pick 4 cards if you must choose a diamond, then a spade, and then 2 other cards if every card is drawn one at a time. Okay, there's something different about this one. Okay, this is not a hand of cards. You are not being dealt a hand of cards, and then you get your hand, you turn them over, you see what you've got in your hand. What's different here is that every card is being drawn one at a time. Okay, so imagine someone's holding a deck of cards face down to you, and then you pull out one card. Okay, you check out what it is, and then you go in and you choose another one, see what it is, and then you go in and you choose the third card, see what it is, and then you go in, pick the last card, see what it is. So the cards are not coming to you in terms of a hand. You're choosing them out of a deck one at a time. So it's a little bit different here, okay? All right, so we're going to go into this. You have choices. You're going to make your first choice, then you're going to make your second choice, then your third choice, and then your fourth choice. And that's going to be all 4 cards. Okay, you are choosing them separately. Okay, all right, so let's go to each blank and fill in the number that goes in there, and then we'll multiply all these numbers together. Okay, so for the first choice, it has to be a diamond. That's what you're told. Okay, well, how many possible diamonds are there? Okay, well, we know that there are 13 possible diamonds. I'm just going to write that number up here. Okay, but remember, you could also look at this as a combination. You would be choosing one card from the greater set of all 13 diamonds. Okay, if you went to the calculator and you did 13 choose 1, you would get 13. Okay, so you could do a combination here, but if you look at this and say, okay, there's 13 diamonds, there's 13 choices for the first card, okay, 13 diamonds in the deck, you could do it that way without a combination. Okay. All right, so then the second choice, the second card has to be a spade. Okay, so it's going to be the same kind of thing. You could look at this and say, okay, there's 13 spades in the deck. The first card was a diamond, so it didn't affect the spades. There's still, when it comes time to draw the second card, there's still 13 spades in the deck. Okay. All right, so you could either write down 13 or you could do a combination that for the second choice, you would be choosing one card from the greater set of 13 spades. Okay, now it comes time to do the third choice and the fourth choice, and there's no restrictions on those. Okay, they're just 2 other cards, but you have to draw them one at a time. Okay, so that's why there's not going to be a combination for these remaining 2 blanks. You're just drawing these cards separately. Okay, so remember, there are 52 total cards in the deck. Okay, you have to take out 1 card because of the diamond. Okay, so when you chose that one, that left 51 cards in the deck. Then you took out the spade. So now 50 cards are left in the deck. Okay, so those remaining 2 cards have to come from the 50 remaining cards. Okay, so for your third choice, okay, there are 50 cards left to choose from. Okay, and then once you take out that one, okay, so that's the third card, then there are 49 cards left to choose from for the fourth choice. Okay, so that's how you're going to compute this one. Okay, and again, you don't want to do a combination here. You could not do this as 50 choose 2. Okay, you cannot do that here because a combination implies you're pulling them at the same time. You are not pulling them at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to write that right here. You can't do this because you're not pulling the 2 cards at the same time. Okay, so that's why it has to be separate blanks. Okay, so let's go to our calculator. Okay, remember 13 choose 1 is 13. So we're going to do 13 times 50 times 49, and that will get us the answer. Okay, so we're going to do 13 times 13 times 50 times 49. Okay, and there we go. Okay, 414,050. Okay. Okay, so that is the number of ways you can pick 4 cards if you have to choose a diamond, then a spade, and then 2 other cards if every card is drawn one at a time.